One of the most crucial aspects of healing from abuse by someone who is especially important to you, who is very significant to your life, is to be able to navigate through and reconcile the contradictions between acknowledging the abuse as well as acknowledging the grief of losing a very important person who is also the same person who is responsible for the abuse. So, this is a very nuanced and complex work, and the process of coming to a point of resolution and healing needs to address this. Now, when you're grieving enormous losses, and the abuser also represents very significant things in your life, it's very difficult to also talk about the abuse trauma itself at the same time. It's almost like the greatest taboo today. I mean, it's not sex or, sexuality. It's about grieving the losses of people who are still alive, but no longer with you. And maybe they're with another person. Maybe, they're not behaving the same way, in the same abusive way with the other person in the other relationships. Maybe if they died, it would still be a lot easier to mourn and to acknowledge that grief openly and to get support for that grief. But if they're still living, and especially if they're with someone else, then it's very difficult for people. I meet people through my work who cannot even start to address the grief they feel about losing a person in their life who also was responsible for abusive behavior. And they can't address this without feeling deep shame and even guilt. And that's if they even get past the point of avoiding the topic in the first place. And a lot of this is part of the toxicity of a serial monogamy culture in which we live, where the cutoff culture, as we call it, is very much normalized. And that makes it very difficult for people to be able to address the grief of losing those who are still alive from their life.